the bold lines definitely is a thing on dark skin to make the tattoo stand out, so stay tuned. Okay, and starting out, we're using a 9-round liner, and this is the bug pen, so I get tighter lines but also bold lines. Okay, now we're going to finish outlining it, and then we're going to start moving on to the shade that's on the chin. So with the shade, I'm using a 7 curve mag and a 13 curve mag, but the 7 curve mag I use to block out the teeth. Later on, I'm going to go back and tighten it up with a round liner, 7-round and 9-round liner. As you see, I started to use true grays to get the skull and everything to stand out a bit more, but make sure you leave those skin breaks as well. Okay, we're moving on up to the back of the head. This way it's going to be a little more dark at. Put like a shadow back there. You're going to fill it in. Still using some true grays, but also like main black to get it to stand out where that curve at in the skull. And in the eyes, I started off with pure black, and I came back with some of the little lighter grays. So once this healed up, it's definitely not going to be super dark. I just want it to be nice enough to where it pop, and then I'm going to look over it and see what we need to touch up. Okay, now we're going to move up, start touching the shadows on the flowers. Remember, it's overlapping the skull, so you're going to make sure you put dark shadows underneath the petals to show that it's sitting on top of something, show a little depth. But it's way less true grays in the flowers than the skull, because I want the skull to be mostly gray to stand out. And of course, as we move to the top part of the skull, that's going to be the lightest part. See, I add those darks under the petals to structure those petals out. So you can see the flower once it heals up. You don't want it to be all mushy. One thing I gotta do is go back and tighten up some of those skin breaks. Okay, so last minute, you see we decided to add the blunt in the mouth, which was easy. I just angled it in towards the teeth, and then I added like dark shadows just to kind of cover that side of the mouth that may have showed through, which was pretty simple. And to separate the background for this smoke, I definitely didn't use any true grays, but the smoke that's coming directly from the blunt. That's why I use the true grays at. But the rest gonna be just gray wash. That way when they heal up, it could be real light sitting in the background. And another thing I did on top of the gray wash, I went back with some gray tones to give some darker smoke shadows going in between those smokes, so it'll stand out from the gray wash itself. And this flower is definitely going to be lighter than the first one because I only use light gray tones and only a little dark in the middle. Right now I'm just going in with the mag and tightening up some of those edges around the flower. Make sure once it heals up, it stands apart and it don't blend in with the skull or anything like that. For the second session for her touch-up, I'll definitely go back maybe with a liner and slightly tighten up those edges again. But you see on the skull where I added that bold line, that's the only place that have a bold line on it, so it will stand apart from the flowers and things like that. I could have did the whole tattoo like that, but you know me, used to doing realistic, I was supposed to just do the whole thing, probably illustrative with the lines, but the tattoo right above it was a cover-up. And you see how I did the bees, that wasn't with a line, that was with a shade needle, which is the 7 curve mag. So I just did the skull to get it to pop out like that, which I'm probably gonna darken in the eyes and the nose once you come back for the touch-up. But other than that, yep, I wanted the flowers to be soft and sit back and the skull to be real hard, bold outline to stand out from the rest. That was the most important part to her. Okay, now we're about to move on to the white, and I definitely use a fresh needle every time I do white. And this is currently a 9-round liner, the bug pen. And I'm just tapping like I'm doing shade work. But I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I'm doing a circular motion, like I pack in color. But remember, once I do white, I always turn my machine down. If it's at 7, I turn it down to about 5.8 to 6 volts. Make sure it's going slower and I can easily pack in my white. So I think packing in white is easier than packing in black because black takes a lot of time if you're doing a solid black tattoo. But I definitely, with both of them, I turn it down when I'm packing. Same thing with color, but I don't turn it down as low as I do for white ink.